So welcome to the 2022 AGM for Omega, the Oxfordshire ME Group for Action. So we're delighted to have Caroline Struthers as our guest speaker, and her talk will begin at 2:30 after our AGM business has been done. We will have a short break after the end of the AGM bit and before the talk, so you can go and make a cup of tea and get comfortable. Please note we are recording this, so if you feel too tired to last until 4, you'll be able to catch up at a later date. So firstly, we have apologies from Patricia Wells. And we'd also like to remember all the people who are too unwell to attend meetings, even remotely, as screens, light and sound are too much for them to cope with. They're important members of our community, and we always remember them and work hard to represent their interests and keep them informed of our activities. After all, that's what we're all about. That's what we're here for. Our last AGM was held in September. We were pleased to have a talk by Dr. Carl Morton. So I'll just say that again. Stumbled slightly there. So by Dr. Carl Morton, who most of you I think should be familiar with, and he was talking about his many research projects exploring ME and other chronic health conditions. He's a dedicated researcher who's exploring the biomedical mechanisms behind ME and similar conditions in the hope of finding ways to help recovery and diagnosis. His work continues, and we support his work by helping him find participants for his various research projects, and we also donate funds to support his work. He is going to be giving a Speedwell lecture, which is a regular series of health-related lectures held in Oxford. This one is going to be held remotely, so that will hopefully make it a lot more accessible to many of you. And that will be a Zoom meeting on the 23rd of November, and that is titled Unraveling the Role of the Microbiome in ME/CFS and New Developments Towards a Diagnostic Tool. Now, I tried to Google this and I couldn't find it, but we do have the link. We do have the Zoom link at Omega. So I was thinking we can maybe copy and paste it in the chat today, but we can certainly email that out to members. It's probably not time to get it in the newsletter. But also, if you want to contact us ever to ask us about anything, you'll find in the newsletter there's various ways to do that: telephone numbers, email, all sorts of things. Okay, so just do, if you missed all of that, just check out the newsletter and send us an email or give us a ring, and we'll make sure you get that information. So last September, we also approved the accounts and reminded everyone of our ongoing affiliations to the Times Trust, which is the Young ME Sufferers Trust. I do apologise if you can hear my dog. She's chasing a fly. Right, so I'll just start that bit again. So we reminded everyone of our ongoing affiliations to the Times Trust, which is the Young ME Sufferers Trust, and to the other OCVA, which is the Oxfordshire Community and Voluntary Action. So we gain a lot by having access to their resources. And if anyone watching this is or knows of a child or young person suffering with ME, please do look up the Times Trust, because they'll provide you with a range of support, particularly around the issues that young people face, like school and attendance and those things. And they were certainly extremely helpful for my family in the past. Okay, so do we approve the minutes of the last AGM? We're all happy with that?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's fine.
Good, great. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the chair report. So this year has been a little more normal, whatever that is, than previous years, and we're gently starting to introduce more in-person meetings as the risk from COVID is more manageable, perhaps less severe in some cases. We managed to have an outdoor gathering in Florence Park in August, our normally annual picnic by the bandstand. We had to reschedule due to extreme heat forecast. It was one of the 40 degrees days, and that was certainly a first. It's usually torrential rain that is the problem. However, we had a delightful gathering the following weekend, and it was so lovely to see real faces and meet new and old members of the group. You know, people had a really great chat. Yeah, and it was lovely, very, very special time, I feel. And new connections were made. And we're hopefully going to have many more such gatherings next year once the spring weather comes. Although I must say today's marvellous. We could have had one today. So because of the ongoing pandemic and the lack of in-person meetings, we decided a few months ago to try out Zoom socials. And I know a lot of people struggle with Zoom, but we just thought it was worth a go just to reach out to some of our members who may well be feeling very isolated at this time. And they've actually been a great success. So they provide that sort of, just social interaction and mutual support. So the dates and times are being emailed to members, and some are published in the newsletter if we're organised enough in time. Obviously, there's a bit of a lead time there. With these, there's absolutely no obligation to stay for the whole duration. It's really fine just to pop in. So a couple of people will literally be there for like 5 minutes and just say hello. And it's just really nice just to see their faces or not if they don't want to have the camera on, and just make that connection. So we're really pleased that that seems to be working. And please do drop in, have a go if you feel like that's something you might want to do. Very informal, and we just have a good old chat and check in on how people are doing. So yeah, please join in, keep an eye out for those. And I would just say, for those of you that don't use the internet or computers, perhaps you're watching with a friend today, one member managed to join from their landline. So if that's something you'd like to try, then do let us know, and we can give you the number to ring and explain how that works. So if you're interested in all of that, look out for emails from mail.omegaoxen@gmail.com, and that will give you the Zoom dates and the links. So the next one of those is coming up very soon, and that will be on Monday, the 7th of November at 10:30 a.m. And the one after that will be on Wednesday, the 14th of December at 2 p.m. And for that one, there is an optional Christmas theme. So if you want to have a bit of tinsel wrapped around you and eat a mince pie while we're having the conversations, that's completely fine. Obviously, no obligation. So another type of meeting that started up again is the South Oxfordshire meetings, and they have returned to meeting in person, and you can see the newsletter for details of that, but I believe that's been going well and is proving a really good thing for those that can get there. we are sad to announce that the independent group for Wantage and Grove, known as WAGs, have now closed, which is a great shame. But if anyone feels like starting up a group in their local area, do let us know and we can do what we can to assist. So you don't need to commit yourself to a, really formal, really regular thing. You could just have a go, try it out, see who turns up. Like I say, make yourselves known to us if you think that's something you might be able to do. I'd like to give an absolutely massive, huge, enormous thank you to Pat Williams and Mary Horan, Christina Vos-Peterson, Diane Drayson and David Polgreen for their continued amazing work producing the quarterly newsletter, which is absolutely packed full of useful information, updates from the ME world, and it's in a format accessible to our members that do not use computers. And it's really fantastic. So thank you all so much. That's a huge amount of work that you do, and we're very, very grateful for it. Do make sure as a member that you're signed up to receive this electronically if that's an option for you, as that helps keeps our costs down, but we're very happy to post it out to those that find that more preferable. Again, that's exactly what we're all about. You're not being a nuisance at all. So we're very happy to post it to you if that's what you prefer. Okay, so now we go on to the summary of accounts. Now, our total income was £2,050. And our total outgoings last year were £830. So obviously quite healthy and unusually so. That's because in the past, one of our major expenses has been room hire and catering for events. But as these have not been happening, we have a positive balance. Obviously, as COVID subsides, we will be returning to that, but that's where we are at the moment. So currently the newsletter is our biggest expense. We feel it's a valuable and cost-effective resource benefiting our members, especially those unable to access the internet or with too little energy to trawl through it all. Subs and donations are £962.50, which is quite significantly down from last year. Again, that's potentially due to not meeting in person. People tend to sort of remember to pay their subs when they come to the AGM. So do please remember to check that you've paid and to pay if you can. If you can't, obviously, don't worry, we won't be chasing you for that. But yeah, if you can, that would be great. So now we move on to the election of the officials. David, how are we doing this? I can't remember. We're using the raising hand function.
Well, I think we've approved the minutes, didn't we? And so it's a little bit difficult on these Zoom webinars. So I think it's just the committee. We did ask in the newsletter whether anybody.
Okay, so we don't need to vote. I'll just say what's been decided.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for that. So we have the treasurer is Diana Sammy. So she prepares all our accounts and does a great job. And she was proposed by Wendy Perry and seconded by Pat Williams. And the chair is a joint post currently. So that is myself, Iona Fabian, and Wendy Perry, who you can see on the panel here. We were proposed by David Polgreen and seconded by Maria Bradfield. Okay, so as far as I am aware, that is all the business done. So we can have a break, grab a cup of tea and settle in ready to hear from Caroline at 2:30.